it's just a whole bunch of really good, delicious carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are something that we've been looking at, and how they're such an important fuel source in the body. Huge influences promoting like low carb diets or paleo style diets, and at the same time promoting high intensity training to an audience of young people. Life's too good to be spending it at war with yourself. I'm off to see the traditional Chinese herbalist.
I think you've got a bit more energy back and less hair is falling out.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one. This is Rio, for anyone who doesn't know Rio. Rio. Good morning, guys. I'm really excited to vlog today, or just make this video, because, well, I'm hoping that it's going to be really positive. So before I start, I just want to do a disclaimer or trigger warning. If anybody finds talking about mental health, such as eating disorders or body image and seeing pictures or anything like that, this is just a trigger warning. Please don't watch this video if something like that might upset you or make you feel uncomfortable. However, this is definitely not meant to be a triggering video. I'm trying to make this really positive. My aim for this video is to make you feel so much better and happier, and I guess motivating to recovering. So basically, the other day on my Snapchat, I was looking at my Snap memory from 2 years ago, and this picture came up, and it just, wow, I just reflected on how far I've come since then, like since that headspace and being in that place physically and mentally, where I was literally just consumed by being lean and tiny. And I don't want to go into it too in depth because I have done lots of videos on recovering and my own experience. Basically, I just saw that picture and I was like, wow, like I've really changed a lot. It reminded me of how bad it was being in that place and how much better it is now. So I wanted to make this video to talk about why it's so much better and the benefits to recovering, because I know it's so hard to do. And when you're in that place and the thought of like gaining weight and changing seems like the worst thing in the world, it's actually the best thing in the world. So I'm gonna tell you why. Today's a Friday. I had a nice little sleep in. I just have a chill day. I have a day off today. I don't have work today. I don't have uni. Even if I did have uni, it would be online. Because of the coronavirus, our uni's been shut down. Actually, all unis have been shut down, and they're all moving classes and lectures and learning to online. Now I'm just gonna have some brekkie and I'll take you through the day, and also just share why my life has improved so much since recovering. And I'm not saying I'm completely recovered, but I know I am much more healthy and in a way better place than before. I have talked a lot about it on my channel and made a lot of recovery videos, and I will say, like, when I was in the worst place was 2018, and I had phases of recovering a little bit but then relapsing again. But this time I've kind of just been more strict on recover, do the right thing, like enough's enough. We like life's too good to be spending it at war with yourself. I'm gonna go make my breakfast now and get along with the day and bring you guys along. Okay, so for brekkie, I just have my good old oats in this really pretty bowl. I just made that with almond milk, added some maca powder and hemp seeds, and then I topped it with some banana, blueberries, nectarine, and cinnamon. If you want the recipe on how I actually make this, it's in my morning routine video. Okay, I know this is really weird, but I freaking love soggy Wheat Bix. Well, my family have Vitabrits. My mum always buys Vitabrits or off-brand Wheat Bix because it's doesn't have any added sugar, so it's just like the whole grains. So what I do now is add a Wheat Bix on top and then put more almond milk on top. And obviously I add peanut butter. Soggy Wheat Bix with oats together is a combo. It's so good. So here's my really random brekkie situation. So of course, like Weet-Bix soak up all of that liquid I put on top, and they go all mushy, and the oats are all mushy, and together it's just a whole bunch of really good, delicious carbohydrates. That's something I want to talk about. One of the first things I wanted to talk about in terms of a huge benefit of recovering is just mindset. So I'm going to just have a little mindset chat right now. So obviously physical benefits is huge when it comes to recovering from having anorexia or being really underweight or being unhealthy in that way. There's so many like physical benefits, which I'll get to later in this video, but right now mental benefits is huge. It's half mental, it's half physical. It might be more mental for somebody, because I know some people, their actual body size doesn't get underweight or overweight, but it's all mental. But for me, it was both. So having an eating disorder is a mental health disorder, so it is very mental. And that's why it's so hard to deal with. And I completely understand. If you're struggling with disordered eating, it's not your fault at all. Like, you didn't ask for that, but it is your responsibility to take the steps to recover and do the hard things that you're scared of to get better. So one of the obvious huge benefits that I've experienced is not panicking about food, not being afraid of foods, not being consumed by it, like being like obsessive or always thinking about what you're allowed to eat, when you can eat next, how much you're not eating. Life doesn't revolve around food anymore. And for me, I constantly reminded myself of how I used to think before I'd experienced a eating disorder. You weren't thinking about food, you were just living your life, and then when you would get hungry, you'd be like, oh, you know, I should get some lunch now. Like, I ate food to fuel me through my day. I didn't obsess over it. I wasn't living my day to get to a next meal. I'm not saying that I did that in an eating disorder, but that's kind of what it's like sometimes when you don't let yourself eat, and then all you think about is when you're allowed to eat, what you're allowed to eat, and like this little amount that you give yourself. Not obsessing over food and just living my life has been so much better. And I 100% encourage you, if you count macros or calories or track what you eat, to not do that. Try and be intuitive, and I completely understand that your mind's so messed up, and at first you might need to track and make sure you're having enough. But for most people with an eating disorder, I'm also sure that you know exactly, or you have a very educated, rough guess of how much is in everything you eat. So you kind of know how much you're eating, and you kind of know how much you should be eating, so you could still have a very good idea of how much you're getting without counting. And I just think counting is just really, some people it might be great for them, but for me it was just obsessive. It was just a really negative thing. Whenever I tracked macros, I just never got to enough calories for my needs. I would have been scared if I had seen that number at enough calories at that time, but now I could track calories per day, and if I was at like 2,000, I would be like, I still need more, because I know I need more than that. Another big thing is you cannot compare yourself to other people. I don't just mean the people around you, like your parents or your friends, but I mean like people you watch online. And it's so disappointing, and I've only just been really noticing it more lately as I've been in a much better place and more educated, not only from experience but from my own studies. Like, and I don't mean researching online, which is fair, like you get a lot of knowledge from researching online, but I mean from the subjects I'm doing at uni. I get asked a lot what I'm doing, and I study sports and exercise science. I'm in my second year, and one of my subjects right now is like biochemistry, and I've also studied like biomedical science and stuff like that. Like, before I talk about things online, share things in terms of like nutrition or fitness, I feel uncomfortable doing that unless I actually have an education in those subjects. Okay, let me explain this better. So something that's been irking me lately is big influencers, and I'm not saying they're bad people at all. They're lovely people. They're just being positive, but they're influencers. A lot of health and fitness influencers, for example, like they share their life with their followers, which is completely fine, but they also share fitness and nutrition content that's very influential, and they don't actually have any tertiary education in those areas. Sure, they've done heaps of research online, they've gone through their own experience, found what works for them, blah blah blah. I think it's a little bit irresponsible, because I've been watching some influencers, and some of the stuff they promote has just been really not healthy, and I know that for some people it might be really triggering for them. And it also, like for me, when I started watching some of the really big influencers, when I was in school and I started like doing what they were doing and, you know, taking advice from them, or even subconsciously implementing some of the things they encourage in their videos. Like, sure, they've done heaps of research online about what's healthy to eat, but when you study this type of thing, you know, tertiary or higher education, I know some people like Freely the Banana Girl, like it's corrupt, they just tell you to eat meat. Like, no, you learn about how fuel sources such as carbohydrates and fats react within your cells at an atomic level, at a cellular level, and then you can apply that knowledge to foods in real life. It's not like they're telling you their own ideas. They're teaching you a foundation so you can then apply that knowledge to your own ideas. You have that, you know, knowledge at a biochemistry level and an atomic level about functions within your body, and that's something that lately in biochemistry we've been studying, like fuel systems within the body, oxidative phosphorylation and all that type of thing, and carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are something that we've been looking at, and how there's such an important fuel source in the body, and seeing huge influences promoting like low carb diets or paleo style diets, and at the same time promoting high intensity training to an audience of young people. Like for me, that's something I definitely became a bit afraid of at one point when I was in a really bad place, like carbohydrates. You know, of course it's healthy to eat salads, you don't have to have carbohydrates at every meal, but having a low carbohydrate diet while being an athlete, for example, for the most part, carbohydrates are such an essential source for our bodies. And I want to do a video just dedicated purely to this, so I'm not going to go too much into this now. But yeah, just influencers have a big influence, so I just think it's really irresponsible when influencers don't actually have any qualifications or real higher education in the stuff they're selling and promoting, and people's lives are being changed from that, because someone might follow their lifestyle and it will affect their life if it's not healthy for them. And if it's healthy for them, it could be positive, but it's a serious thing when you promote something like that. So anyway, I am notorious for going off on tangents, so I'm just gonna keep going. With not being afraid of foods, I've also been more, I guess, grateful for like how lucky I am to have abundance of nourishing, healthy foods, and just grateful that I can eat lots of healthy foods and fuel my body. And of course you can still eat healthy. One of the things I was really afraid of when I was in a really bad place, this was a terrible place, I just was so scared that if I admitted I had a problem, someone was going to force feed me donuts. It was just so silly. I remember one day just crying because my dad got mad at me because he would get angry at me when he would see how skinny I was because he didn't know what to do. I remember just thinking they just wanted me to get fat and like eat heaps of junk food, but that wasn't the case at all. They just wanted me to be like I was in school when I would eat so much food. It was all healthy foods, but I would eat so much because I needed that, and I was training lots. Like I would come home from school and like eat heaps before training. I wouldn't be drinking heaps of water to get through my session because I was hungry. Oh my gosh, the things that I did when I was in a bad place just give me a headache. Never again. Just enjoying food more has been such a blessing, so I won't take that for granted. I looked in my room last night. I was looking everywhere last night for Garmin watches. With being not afraid of foods, like I have enjoyed food more and just like enjoyed going out for brunch with friends. Like enjoyed going out and getting smashed avo on sourdough, which was something I was really afraid of when I was in a bad place because bread is bad. Like I'm not going to go and eat white bread, or like I'm not going to go and eat fairy bread on white bread with butter and sugar sprinkled on top. I, at home, don't have bread often, but my mum goes to the farmer's market sometimes and buys like a whole grain sourdough or like some really good rye bread, or like, you know, there's like 9 grain seed loaves. That's not bad for you. It's again a really good source of carbohydrates, which is such an essential fuel source for the body. Like going out to a restaurant and getting like a stir fry with rice, that's white rice, like just enjoying it and not being freaking afraid of it, because I remember being so scared of that in the past, and it was really isolating. Like I would isolate myself because I just never wanted to go out, and it wasn't just because of food. When you're in a really bad place with yourself like that, I just didn't I was not myself, because I'm someone who loves to be around my friends and to be around people, but I just didn't want to be around people. Very isolating all the time in all situations. It was really sad. So that's another thing, just feeling more excited for life in general, and that the future is more hopeful. Like, I just feel like there's so much in life, like, to be enjoyed, and I'm so much more excited for for the future and for my life, instead of before I was so sad and felt pretty empty. I know that life is this great gift, and I always have known that, but I feel like excited for it because my life isn't obsessed revolving around food. My life is there to live, and like, obviously food is there to enjoy and to fuel me to live my life, but it's not the main thing in my life. And of course, another really big mental thing has been my relationship with my body and myself. So that has improved a lot. I knew I was hurting myself before when I was not giving myself the energy it needs, energy as in food, and I was forcing it to train a lot. And I'm very lucky to have a really supportive family and friends and coach. She just encouraged me so much to get out of that mindset, and she was like, it has to come from you. And it was just really good to have supportive people that were there for me through everything, and they never forced me to do anything. It was always I had to be the one to do it. One of the biggest reasons why I guess relapsed or didn't properly get to a good stage for so long, one of the reasons I struggled a lot with that was because my relationship with my body. So as soon as my body would start to change and it wasn't really skinny, I wasn't extremely shredded, I would be so negative and talk so badly to myself. I love that I'm reflecting on this now. Like, I don't feel like that anymore, and I don't always have good days. Like, I don't talk to myself like that at all anymore. So that's something that's improved so much, because I just got to a point where earlier this year I was really unwell and I was so fatigued and I was passing out. I literally spent an entire week in the holidays where I couldn't leave my house because all I could do is sleep in the day. I just felt so unwell, and I just got to a point where I was like, I can't do this to my body anymore. It's not worth it. Like, it's literally not worth it. Like, being really skinny and being sad and not properly living my life, like, what do you actually get out of that? Because at the end of the day, like, when you're with someone, do you appreciate them for like who they are and having fun with them, or for how they look? Like, nobody cares how you look but yourself. So you have to be the one that rewires your brain to realize that you should care about who you are more than how you look. And of course, we're humans, it's natural to care about how you look. But there's a difference between caring a little bit and obsessing and being consumed by that. I've learned so much to love my body for what it can do for me. So I've made this post that I put up on Instagram. I'll put a little thing, because like, that was a big reflecting moment for me. And this is like around the time I'm making this video that I was looking through that. But I've just reminded myself, like, I love my body for what it can do for me. Like, that I can be strong, that I can have a good life in my body, and how it looks is not what it's not, it doesn't matter. Like, obviously I'm not saying it's healthy to be overweight and at unhealthy weight, but I'm this is from like a eating disorder point of view. If you're really underweight and you're just obsessed with being tiny and small, like, nobody cares. You're the only one. It's just ruining your own life. The fact that my body can do, like, be strong, I can run, I can one day, maybe not soon, have a baby. Like, my body can do so many amazing things. You can do so many things with your body. You can go and have fun. You can run around and just like live your life. It's what your body can do for you rather than, you know, how it looks. Honestly, there's so many mental, like, improvements that I can't keep talking because this video will go forever.
To show you that, so when it's newborn, there are very few cells. The new neurons to migrate from the ventricular area.
So I've just been studying, doing these online lectures, and now I'm gonna go get ready. I'm off to see the traditional Chinese herbalist that I've been seeing for the last few months. I've mentioned it in some of my videos, and I'm gonna update you guys on how that is going. Here's my outfit of the day. Tracky dacks that are really comfy, and just a white singlet and bralette. because that's my mood right now, and slides. Look how good my banana tree's going. Okay, today is so beautiful outside. Okay, I literally tried moving the car to get better lighting, so still not that great. This is the best we're gonna get, so I'm just gonna go with it. I'm off to see the traditional Chinese herbalist that I've been seeing. She's a very lovely woman, and I started seeing her around January, which was the time when my body just was not coping, and I just knew my body had enough of not being at a healthy size for me. Everybody's body is completely different. Everyone is so different. Some people are just naturally really tiny. I am pretty naturally slim, but I was forcing my body to be way tinier than I naturally should be. I was forcing my body to stay at a weight that is just way too small for me. Like, for my height, for my muscle mass, it was just unhealthy. My mum took me to see a traditional Chinese herbalist because she visited a traditional Chinese herbalist when she was trying to fall pregnant with me and my twin, and it took her a long time before she got pregnant. That helped her to fall pregnant. I do really value a lot of the practices that traditional Chinese herbalists practice. Their philosophy and kind of holistic approach. I went because of my health at the time, so now I'm going to be talking about the health benefits from being healthier and recovering. So physically, so I first started going to the Chinese herbalist that I'm seeing because of the extreme fatigue I was experiencing, and because of having amenorrhea. So I haven't had a period since 2017, so that is way too long, and I know how your body works. I know the science behind it, and it does completely make sense. If you're not giving it the energy to sustain, it's not going to function completely properly. It's not going to have a period. It's going to be just trying to survive. And if your body's losing weight, which means it's breaking itself down for energy, then it's not going to have energy to thrive, to make adaptations from training, to have a period. If you're not giving it the energy it needs, it's going to use yourself for energy, so you're not going to get a period and function completely optimally. On top of seeing the Chinese herbalist, I didn't obviously just go to her and say fix me. Like, I knew I had to actually eat enough, fuel myself, and gain weight to have energy. But seeing her has helped, and I've been doing things with her like acupuncture, cupping, having different types of herbs she's given me. Red Chinese dates is a superfood she's given me to include in my diet, and dried yams. All that type of thing has helped, but I know being at a healthy weight for me has been a huge part of it. I've been seeing her every 1 or 2 weeks to get acupuncture, and she's been doing specific points in the body that help with both energy and fatigue and getting a period back. So she focuses a lot on like nourishing the body. So a benefit of recovering is having energy, is not being super fatigued all the time, but having energy to be enjoying my life, to be doing activities, to be going to training, to be enjoying training, to be focused at uni, just having energy to put into relationships, put into how I feel, like to enjoy my life. And energy to be myself, because I'm a pretty crazy person, but I'm very energetic as a person, and like my personality, like when I'm at training, I'm like crazy. That's just what I'm going to explain it. When I had no energy and I was not myself, having more of a personality and being myself again is just a huge benefit. And that's another thing that's been a huge benefit, training. So I have mentioned that I had to reduce training so much, and I've slowly been getting back into it, and I've just been feeling better from it. I feel like, well, I am actually getting more out of training, because before I obviously couldn't get that much out of it when my body's breaking itself down. Like, I wouldn't be really making that many gains or adaptations or improving much from training when my body's breaking itself down anyway from not getting enough food. So I'd be smashing my body training, and then I wouldn't refuel and recover, so I wasn't going to get those adaptations because my body's breaking itself down to try to survive. I enjoy training more, I get more out of it, and I feel better for it. And the biggest thing going back to training has been my philosophy around just going and having fun, enjoying it again, which is the whole point. Like, the whole reason you do a sport is because you love it. And the last health thing I'm going to add, I'm really sorry if this is TMI. Actually, not really that sorry. If you find this embarrassing, then just leave. I don't know how to say this. There's no other way to say this, but when you are really underweight and lose a period, if you've experienced this, you would know you have no sex drive or anything like that. Not even any emotion. I don't know. All I'm gonna say is I've been watching Vampire Diaries, and holy hell, Damon Salvatore, Oh my gosh. Anyway, I'm going to go. So crazy, my baby. So I just got home from my appointment. I basically had acupuncture treatment but with less needles, and the needles that were on the points of my stomach, she attached electrodes which put this like pulse through it, and it basically felt like, you know, after training when your muscles are really tired and you start getting some pulsating muscles, it was like that but like times 20. It was like really intense pulses. It didn't hurt or anything, it was just like, it kind of felt cool. Usually when I go, I just get acupuncture with lots of different needles and different points all over my body, like from my toes up to my elbows. So that's all just to stimulate points in the body that help with nourishment and help with blood flow. It's in like this like kind of Chinatown area, so I always think it looks really cool. I also bought some of those apples that I put a clip of, and they are so beautiful, like the best apples. Apples are not my favorite fruit, by the way. They're so basic. Everybody loves a good apple, come on. I'm also really overheating in these trackies because today ended up being like 35 degrees. So I'm gonna change out of these and go make myself lunch. So Mum, I've been vlogging today and I've been throughout the day talking about the benefits of like recovering from having anorexia or being underweight. And I wanted to ask how you think I've changed. Your thoughts?
Well, I think you've got a bit more energy back and less hair is falling out.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one. I talked about the energy. I said that's a big thing.
So that's really nice because we can eat dinner together.
Yeah.
Gotta go.
Okay. For lunch, I just have this big bowl with some random leftovers from the fridge. So I have just a mix of brown rice and yellow turmeric rice my mum made, chickpeas,
corn, peas, carrot, broccoli, mushrooms and asparagus. And then I also just added a boiled egg.
Really random lunch, but yeah, just a bunch of leftovers. Okay, so now I'm gonna have my lunch. It's like almost 2:30 and I'm just gonna like chill, watch some Vampire Diaries. I'm in my little study space because then I'm just gonna go back to finishing all my uni work after lunch. I also just thought of a few more things that I wanted to add that are so much better now that I've just like worked so hard on changing my mindset, and that is just listening to my body. I know this is a oversaid thing, like listen to your body, but it's so necessary because the thing is, you know what your body is saying most of the time. Like most of the time when I was in a really bad place, I knew my body was saying like rest, eat more, but I wasn't listening to that. So really listening to my body and being happy to do that, a big benefit of recovering, because I'm able to do that without having to fight myself to do that. Because obviously when you don't do that, it's because there's another part of you that's stopping you from doing that. Like I'm having a rest day today from training and I'm like happy to do that. I'm not like, you know, hating myself or feeling so bad to not like be moving heaps or like training heaps. It's just so nice to have a rest day and let your body recover and rejuvenate and not be kicking yourself for it. And a really big thing, not only is being able to listen to my body and have rest days, is being able to listen to my hunger and actually just honoring my hunger and eating. When I was in a really bad place, I used to get really anxious about eating too early because then I would get hungry. And it's just so silly, because if I get hungry again, then you just eat again. Like, it's so annoying when you see advertising or people say, you know, curb hunger cravings. Like, hunger isn't a craving, it's a signal from your body that we're so lucky to have, because it's our body's way of telling us, okay, you need more fuel now, you need more energy, time to eat. Like, you don't need to fight hunger. Like, the way to fight hunger is to eat. Hunger isn't something that you fight, it's a signal. Like, I used to obviously do all the little tips and tricks to eat less calories by eating like heaps of salads and stuff, which a salad is a completely healthy meal. Like, it's fine to have, but it needs to have enough nutritional value and calories. Like, you can make a really great salad adding avocado, sweet potato, quinoa, not just having leaves. Like, vegetables are great, but you have to have the essential calories and macronutrients like proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. They're all essential. So when you see restrictive diets that are like keto, or any type of low carb, or any type of diet that cuts out a macronutrient, just steer away from them, because all three macronutrients are essential to human beings, because that's just how we have evolved. So now it's so much better. Like, I remember I used to try and eat as late as possible so I didn't have to eat extra before training, because my training's late in an Arvo, as most trainings would be. And like, now I'm just like, no, I'll just eat more before training if I get hungry. I remember trying to fill up on water or trying to fill up on lettuce so I didn't need to eat more, and it's so silly, because like, my energy needs are high. If that means you need to eat more, then just eat more. Yesterday, for example, before training, instead of just having brekkie and lunch really late, I had brekkie and lunch, and then I had some soggy wheat bix before training with a banana and peanut butter and cinnamon and almond milk. It was really good, but basically just having a big afternoon tea because I was about to go and train hard. So that's just been so nice, like, knowing that I can just eat. Like, I remembered when I was like getting so much better with recovery, I would be like, be relieved. I'd be like, oh my god, I'm not in that place anymore, I can eat, I'm hungry so I can eat, doesn't matter what time of day it is, I'm listening to my hunger. And I found that the days I didn't listen to my hunger, the next day I would be insatiable. Like, I'd not get full, I'd experience extreme hunger. So if I had restricted the day before, when I say restricted, I mean I didn't listen to my hunger, I restricted my body from getting the energy it was asking for, then the next day I would be like, I would have a very big meal and I would not get full from it. And it's just so frustrating to be insatiable. But if you listen to your hunger, your body will appreciate that, and it will be like, oh, you're listening to me, we're in a good relationship now. And yeah, so I can have a meal and then like go about my day and not be like hungry or thinking about food. I'll just be like living my life. I love rice and chickpeas. The combo of rice with like peas and corn, it's a combo. I'm gonna watch Vampire Diaries now.
She told me she killed someone and liked it. Now, how is that right?
I just made myself a little snack. I just finally finished all my lectures. So this is like a, from More Life. I have a discount code for More Life products. If you want to try it out, I'll put it in the description below. But this one's just a like marine collagen powder, and it's berry flavor. So you basically just mix some powder with water and then have it as like a drink. I just made it because a little bit of extra protein, but also this one's full of antioxidants and vitamins, which is really good to stay on top of your immunity, especially in times like this when there's a virus going around. I'm also just gonna have one of the apples I got. This is what the perfect apple sounds like. Crisp and good. Anyway, I'm gonna end this video here because I know it's gone on for so long. I really do hope that this could have been positive to somebody, or maybe even motivation to do something that's maybe really hard for them, even if that's just taking a rest day, taking a day off training. So I really do hope this was motivation to recover and face your fears. I know it's much easier said than done. It's not easy to do, and this like just vlog, this just a random day where I was just, you know, positive, happy, had a good relationship with myself, and you know, just felt happy in myself and rested, just ate, lived a normal day. And it seems so simple, but I don't take that for granted because it wasn't easy to get here. And that might sound really silly to someone who doesn't really get that, but mental health is hard to explain. You can empathize with people, and I'm sure people can understand it, but until you experience it, you don't realize how actually hard it is to get out of that place. So I really hope that this may have helped you, and that you do take the steps that you need to recover. And most people know in their heart what they need to do to recover. So if you can just take little steps, as hard as it is for you. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you did like this video, please give it a like and subscribe. That really means a lot. I upload every Wednesday and Sunday, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!